faster than a rolling Torah, more powerful than a bar mitzvah student who won't study, able to teach 3 adult ed classes in a single bound. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's super clergy!
Chag Purim Samech, everyone, and welcome to our Purim service. This evening we have planned the most uproarious evening possible for an event where there are 5 people in the room. Supergirl and I will be leading you in the prayers and songs for the festival, but really you, the Temple Emeth community, have done the heavy lifting. Did you like that Superman pun? Our community members have contributed artwork, a Zoom skit, and a virtual performance by our junior choir. If you don't think these costumes are ridiculous enough, we will have a photo montage at the end of our service where you can see all the other get-ups we have donned over the years. And our stream team has created a video of the cantor and me here on the bima. What could possibly go wrong with that? This evening, we will be using Mishkan Tefillah for Youth. So if you have a copy at home, you can bring it to the computer. If you don't have a copy at home, you can click through from our live stream page to a flipbook edition. Be sure that you click on the version that says Mishkan Tefillah for Youth. Or you can do what we suspect many of you do every week, which is to just keep walking on the treadmill while we are leading you in prayer. We have a special guest with us this evening. It's Cowboy Larry. Welcome, Cowboy Larry.
Yeehaw! Yeehaw!
As he likes to remind us every year, his character's official name is not Cowboy Larry. If you know his name, you get extra mitzvah points by entering it in the chat or comment section of your live stream platform. I will give you a hint. It is not Cowboy Lawrence. And now to begin our service, Cowboy Larry and I will offer an opening reading. We are doing this so that we can hear that famous Western drawl, and because we've never done this particular shot with the live stream before, and I figured we should be cutting edge. So we continue now as Cowboy Larry and I offer an opening reading. Purim is unlike any other Jewish holiday. On the high holy days, we seek to uncover our true selves.
On Purim, we wear masks so no one can tell who we are.
On Sukkot, we wonder and worry whether the winter will be difficult.
On Purim, we fail the approach of spring and have no cares at all, y'all.
On Passover, we give God full credit for our redemption.
On Purim, we read a scroll that does not even mention God's name. We learn that sometimes the courageous actions of men and women can save our people.
We continue now with the Baruch Hu, which is found in Mishkan Tefillah for Youth on page 22. Please rise for the Baruch Hu. Many Hamans have tried to destroy us. It's too soon, Supergirl.
Oh, sorry.
Though they have attacked the Jewish body, they have not damaged the Jewish soul. Our enemies will never succeed so long as we continue to stand and declare that God is one. We continue now with our declaration that God is one, the Shema, which is found in Mishkan Tefillah for Youth on pages 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
There once was a people in slavery in Egypt, a place not so savory. Though their journey was long, they sang out a great song, thanking God for such unending bravery. We continue with Mi Chamocha, which is found in Mishkan Tefillah for Youth on page 38. Please be seated. It's the wrong one. It's the wrong one. Go to the next Larry button. This was planned out so well, except for the part that we messed up. Yeah, now pen down. No, it's not that one. It's Larry number 2. Go to Larry number 2. This was all planned out. Close. We're almost at Larry number 2. This was such a brilliant idea.
Thank you, but oh well.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Larry, are you like waiting for the inauguration to start? Larry, is it your? Are you bored waiting for something to happen? Larry, trust me that we'll get to the Megillah soon. You can go scowl somewhere else now, and we are going to continue with the silent prayer.
Romav. Hu yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom, shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, hu yaseh
There he is again, just waiting. Larry, Purim is supposed to be fun. It will happen soon. I promise. Our live stream volunteers asked if they could put together a video of what they called our choicest moments for Purim. It sounded a little fishy, but I said that if it wouldn't create any extra work for me, I was all for it. So now let's go to the fearless leader of the stream team, Ed Pierce, to tell us more.
Hi. In the last 6 months since we installed the live stream equipment in our sanctuary, Rabbi Serviu and Cantor Tillum have done some amazing work to make our services special for everyone watching at home. They have shown how music and words, Torah readings, and special milestones can translate to the screen. They deserve a best of reel to highlight all their accomplishments. But this isn't that. While the rabbi and Cantor have great presence while the camera is on them, it seems they forget from time to time that in the control booth, we can see them even when their camera isn't live. It turns out they do some pretty wacky stuff when they think no one is looking. In fact, the rest of the congregation might be surprised at what goes on. And so, in honor of Purim, and with the hopes that the rabbi and Cantor will pay closer attention to the service, the stream team presents Clergy Caught on Camera.
והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We've seen the dangers, both physical and social, of extended cell phone use. I'm not just talking about car accidents caused by distracted drivers. I'm talking about the rumors and false information that are spread on social media. I'm talking about texting or scrolling through social media during meals. We need to have some sacred time away from our devices. It's true that the Torah does not speak extensively about exercise. Nonetheless, we have countless role models when it comes to athletics, from Sandy Koufax to Ali Raceman. Both the Torah and Talmud are very concerned about our health, and we know that health and exercise go hand in hand. Yes, it's difficult during a pandemic to get out of the house to exercise. Gyms are closed, and even jogging in a park has its risks. But with a little creativity, you can find opportunities to exercise. Take the stairs more often, definitely. Think about exercising in a new place, or perhaps even in between meetings or appointments. What is it to be created in God's image? It is in part an acknowledgement that human beings, no matter what their appearance, are deserving of respect. It is a reminder that we cannot assess beauty based on external qualities, such as how someone wears their hair or their clothes. The beauty of a person is found not in the shade of their lipstick or eyeshadow, but rather in how they care for other human beings. Let beauty not be found in the face or the hair or the clothes of an individual, but rather in the soul which God has fashioned for them. Amen. Ve'ele hamishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. Ki tiknei eved ivri shesh shanim yavod uvashviit yetze lechovshi chinam. It is customary on Shabbat Shira to focus on the singing the Israelites did as they crossed through the Red Sea. But let us not forget Exodus chapter 15, verse 20, which says, Miriam took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her in dance with timbrels. The singing may have been spontaneous or led by Moses, but Miriam gets the credit for the dancing. And since that day, Jewish women have loved to dance.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everyone. Happy birthday to you. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach.
We are going to draw our service to a conclusion with Kiddush and Motzi. And so now is a good time to both bring your Kiddush cup and your challah to the computer, as well as to put one last Shabbat greeting in the chat or in the comment section of your live stream platform. We pause for Tfilat Halev, a moment of silence. Inspirational readings for this time are found on pages 260 and 261.
But Jonah had gone down into the hold, the lower deck of the vessel, and he lay down and fell into a deep sleep. And the captain approached him and said to him, "What are you doing sound asleep? Get up, call to your God."
Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say, Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say, Amen.
Oh, I'm glad that service is over. I can't believe I got the schedule wrong. I should have known it wasn't the Zoom service. I've got to check the schedule more carefully. How embarrassing. Well, thank you to the stream team for always keeping a watchful eye on the Cantor and me. We appreciate it. Thank you to Ed Pierce, who did the videography for that reel, and to Damari Zakin, who edited it all together into what you saw a moment ago. We are going to continue now with the reading of the Megillah, and so I'm going to tell you a little about that. As we begin the Megillah reading, you can find the words on our live stream. You can find the words on our live stream page on... No, I'm just kidding. There are no words. You actually have to listen. When we get to the name of the villain, make so much noise that your neighbors come to complain. And when they do, tell them you won't bow down to them no matter how many times they ask, and then shut the door. The reading of our Megillah will have some visual aids this evening. We are pleased that the students of Maura Marla's religious school class have illustrated some key scenes in the story. Those students are, in reverse alphabetical order for a change, Cooper Zaretsky, Aria Zaretsky, Avery Skiana, Kayla Hochstadt, and Ariana Denenzon. When their artwork goes on the screen, you can give them a shout out in the chat or comment section of the live stream platform. Thank you to them and to Maura Marla and to these families for sending in their beautiful artwork. We now begin the reading of the Megillah with the blessings, which are found in Mishkan Tefillah for Youth on page 147.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu v'imotenu bayamim hahem Bazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechayanu v'kiyemanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
In days of old there lived a rich and powerful king named Achashverosh, who ruled all of the Persian Empire. To celebrate his great prosperity, King Achashverosh invited his princes, noblemen, and servants to a big feast, which lasted for 7 days. To illustrate the next scene of our story, we now show a drawing by Ariana. On the last day of the celebration, the king sent for his beautiful wife Vashti, because he was proud of her and wanted to present her to the people. But Vashti refused to come at the king's command. Achashverosh was enraged at the queen's rude behavior and felt that her actions might encourage other wives to disobey their husbands. So he sent Vashti away from the palace and issued a decree. This called all the beautiful young maidens of the land to come before him so that he could choose a new queen. To illustrate the next part of our story, we see an illustration by Kayla.
A Jew named Mordecai heard the decree and was eager for his niece Esther to go before the king, because she was very beautiful. So Mordecai brought Esther to the palace, first advising her not to tell anyone that she was the house of Israel.
The next part of our story will be illustrated with a drawing by Aria.
When Esther went before Ahasuerus, he could not take his eyes away from her. He fell in love with her and preferred her to all the other maidens. So he set the royal crown on Esther's head and made her queen in place of Vashti.
The next part of our story has an illustration made by Kayla. After several days passed, Esther's uncle Mordecai happened to pass two of the king's guards and overheard them plotting to murder the king. Immediately, Mordecai went to Esther, who in turn told Ahasuerus of the plan to murder him. When the matter was investigated, the two guards confessed to the plot and were put to death. Then, get ready now. I don't know what's going to happen, but get ready. Then Ahasuerus appointed a man named Haman. This is really when I'm missing Stan Hecht. He would give me the stop sign every year. In whom he had great trust, to be his chief officer in charge of the many princes and governors in the land. To illustrate the next part of our story, we have a picture made by Aria. All the people of Persia bowed down to Haman to show their... Oh, yeah. I knew it would be different with only 5 people in the room. I just didn't know how different. To show their respect for the king's favored servant. But Mordecai did not trust Haman and refused to bow down to him. Haman was filled with fury and hatred and vowed that he would punish not only Mordecai, but all the Jews in the land. Haman went to Ahasuerus with an untrue story. Larry, you look so perturbed. It's Larry. Not only is he perturbed, but he's asleep. Larry, it's your turn to read. Cantor's going to give you a little social distance at her podium. You do have your Megillah somewhere, right, Larry? All right. It's not even that cold in here. You're dressed like it's 20 degrees at the inauguration. Larry is going to pick up the next part of the Megillah reading, and he's going to be assisted because next to him is a picture made by Kayla.
He told the king that certain people in Persia were following their own customs and not also obeying the king's laws. Haman urged the king to destroy these people because he said they were weakening his kingdom. Ahasuerus trusted and believed Haman. And so he gave him full permission to do whatever he believed was necessary for the good of the country. With the king's permission, the evil Haman ordered the death of every Jew in the land. When Mordecai heard this fearful news, he tore his clothes and put on sackcloth, the robes of grief. Then he went to Esther's chambermaids and asked them to take the news to Esther. He also told them to ask her to go before the king and plead for her people's safety and for her own life. Esther was frightened, for there was a royal custom that no one could approach the king unless that person was sent for. If any man or woman disobeyed this rule, the penalty was death. Mordecai sent Esther a message saying, "Do not think that you will be spared just because you are queen. If you keep silent in this crisis, Deliverance will come to Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish.
Thank you, Larry. We are going to pause in our Megillah reading because at this point in the service, Esther needs to know that she can change the world, and who better to tell her this than the young singers of Temple Emeth. Our religious school students and teens have again answered the call to make a virtual junior choir video for this holiday. This evening they will be singing "You Can Change the World" by Jeffrey Klepper and Donald Rossoff. Unfortunately, the Temple Standards and Review Committee said we could not show you the children's feet. Nonetheless, whenever they sing the phrase, "never accept defeat," we expect you to point at your feet. And just like Peloton, we can see if you're doing it. Thank you to Cantor Tillum and Leo Lucci for putting together the video we get to enjoy right now. Thank you to the members of the junior choir and the teens who participated in that video. We are going to continue now with the reading of the Megillah. Do you remember where we left off? Esther had to decide, would she approach the king without being invited? I know it's quite the cliffhanger. Hearing this, Esther resolved to speak to the king not only to save her own life, but for the sake of all the Jews in Persia. So she put on her most beautiful royal robes and stood at the entrance to the king's palace. Ahasuerus was sitting on his throne, and he at once saw his fair queen standing before him. Instead of being angry, Ahasuerus was pleased to see her and held out his golden scepter to show Esther that she was welcome. And Esther drew near and touched the end of the scepter as a sign of respect for the king.
Then Ahasuerus promised to grant any wish for Esther, even if it meant giving away half his kingdom. But Esther explained that her only wish at that moment was for the king and his officer, Haman, to join her at dinner the next evening.
Yum.
Both the king and Haman
Boo!
accepted Esther's invitation, and Haman walked away feeling very happy and honored that the queen had chosen him as her guest. In fact, he felt so safe and sure of both the king and the queen's favor that he had the gallows made for Mordecai's hanging the next morning.
That same evening, King Ahasuerus had trouble sleeping. For a picture of what that would have looked like, let's see what Avery drew. So he sent for a special book in which all the memorable deeds of the land were recorded. As Ahasuerus was reading, he came to the part which told how Mordecai had saved his life by exposing the murderous plot of the two royal guards. Ahasuerus asked his servants if any honor or reward had been given to Mordecai. They replied that nothing had been done for him. Just then, Haman... I didn't know a piano could make that sound. And entered the king's chamber to speak to Ahasuerus about Mordecai's hanging. As I told him to surprise me. As the gallows was ready and waiting. But before Haman could say anything, Ahasuerus asked his trusted officer, "What shall be done to the man whom the king delights to honor?" And Haman, thinking that the king wanted to honor him, said, "I would give this man royal robes that the king has worn, a horse that the king has ridden, a cape with a big S on the back that the king has worn, and let him ride through the streets of the city for all the people to honor." And for a glimpse of what that probably looked like, we have a drawing by Avery. Then Ahasuerus said to Haman, "Make haste, take the robes and the horse as you have said, and go to Mordecai the Jew who sits at the king's gate." Haman was shocked by the king's request, but he obeyed Ahasuerus. In great anger and jealousy, he led Mordecai through the streets to be honored by the whole city. The next evening, Ahasuerus and Haman attended Queen Esther's feast. For a look at what the feast looked like, we now turn to picture number 9. I should have written that in my script. The artist for picture number 9 is Ariana. So we have Ariana's artwork there, and now I shall read. While everyone was eating, the king said to Esther, "What is your wish?" And Esther replied, "My wish is that you save the lives of my people and myself, for we have been ordered to die." King Ahasuerus said, "Who is the man who could do such a thing?" Again Esther replied, "A foe and an enemy, this wicked Haman." Boo! Well, if that's not going to get Larry to make noise, I suppose nothing will. He has ordered the death of all the Jews, and since I am a Jew, I am to die too. Angrily, King Ahasuerus rose to his feet and ordered Haman to be hanged from the very gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. Not only was Haman hanged, but his sons as well, for they were part of his wicked scheme. Then Ahasuerus gave Haman's house, it has an apostrophe S, does it really count? To Queen Esther, and chose Mordecai to be his chief officer in place of Haman. Okay, there's only one left. To help illustrate the final victorious celebratory scene, we have a picture drawn by Cooper Zoretsky. And as we put Cooper's picture up, we can read, when the Jews heard of this victory against the villainous, make it a big one, folks, Haman, we're trying to keep this to an hour. Who threatened to take their lives, they all gathered and made an enormous feast. Since then, celebrating a holiday called Purim, at which time this ancient story of Esther is retold and has become an annual tradition. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This concludes our reading of the Megillah, or as it's fondly known, the abridged English translation of the Megillah. In case you haven't been listening for the last 15 minutes, fear not. We now turn to the children and teens of Temple Emeth to retell the Purim story in a skit performed entirely on Zoom. Be sure to mute yourselves to reduce the sound distortion as we sit back and enjoy Zooming into Purim, starring the young people of Temple Emeth and directed by Meredith Alvaro Gebhardt.
Our story begins many years ago in the land of Persia. The king of Persia was named Ahasuerus. One evening, he decided to have a feast with all of his friends and advisors.
What a feast, O king!
Yes, I've been eating and drinking, mainly drinking, for 7 days. What could possibly make this party better?
How about some entertainment, guys? Teresh, go get Queen Vasi. Tell her I want her to do that special dance routine she's been working on while she watches TikTok. The one where she wears the royal crown. So know it's what I'm talking about.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Eager to obey the king's orders, Teresh goes to find Queen Vashti.
Excuse me, Your Royal Highness.
I'm glad you're here, Teresh. Tell my husband that his party is too noisy. I'm here with my friends trying to watch TV.
Actually, I'm here to talk to you about the party, just not about the noise. The king would like you to perform that special dance you've been working on. You know, the one where you wear the crown?
Are you kidding me? He knows this routine isn't ready for prime time. And even if it were, the girls and I hate watching The Bachelor tonight. Imagine women from all over the country converging to try to gain the affections of a man as if he's royalty. Where do they get an idea like that? Tell the king he will have to entertain himself. I'm not coming.
Shocked that Vashti is unwilling to submit to the king's request, Teresh returns to give King Ahasuerus the bad news.
Your Majesty, the queen refuses to obey your orders.
What should I do?
If other women hear that the queen has disobeyed her husband and was not punished, then they'll all rise up against their husbands, and the result will be chaos. The king must banish her.
Can't I just, demote her or something?
Every man in Shishran is counting on you and set an example. Someday they'll call this toxic masculinity, but today we just call it leadership.
So true. Guards, banish the queen. Oh, shoot.
And just like that, Queen Vashti was banished from the kingdom. And now Ahasuerus had the enviable task of finding a new queen.
The king has banished the former queen. The king now wants a new queen. All young women will have a chance at being queen of all Persia if they come to the palace for a beauty contest. The winner will be queen. You have 12 months to prepare the finest cosmetics and get ready.
12 months, hooray!
On second thought, the whole skit is supposed to be less than 10 minutes. So you have about 15 seconds to get ready. And don't forget about the interview.
Go. God may work through you to do great things if you're a queen, but don't tell anyone that you are a Jew.
Yes, Uncle.
Bring in all the girls. Make sure the cameras are on and that they're unmuted. And if they really want to impress me, they should make sure there's no backlighting. I hate it when people look like silhouettes.
You heard the king. Everyone has 5 seconds to convince him that she will make the best queen.
Your Majesty, I will bring leadership and dignity to your country. I will help ensure that our land always lives up to the highest ideals.
Esther, I choose you.
As Queen Esther took her rightful place beside the king, a villainous plot was forming between Bigthan and Teresh, two of the king's own advisors.
Let's assassinate the king.
Why?
Because I've heard all these rumors about voter fraud. I mean, how do we know the last king was really his father?
Good point. Let's do it. We don't want to spoil this plan with too much planning. Let's act tonight.
I think I just witnessed an insurrection plot. Or was it an assassination plot? Or was it a coup? Never mind. I must inform Esther. We don't want the palace guards to be caught unprepared.
Mordecai raced to find Esther.
Esther, there's a plot to kill the king. It has been hatched by Bigthan and Teresh. It's going to go down tonight.
The furious Queen Esther ran and told the guards to prepare to defend the king that night. Later that night, as King Ahasuerus slept, the evil plan was set into motion.
Now, Teresh, be quiet. The king is sleeping. We can kill him now.
Okay. Achoo!
Living on the social distancing, and this guy still doesn't know how to sneeze into his elbow.
Aha! I caught you. You will never get away with killing a king.
Send them to the gallows and write this down in the history books.
Yes, sir.
Thanks to Mordecai's quick thinking, the king's life was spared. Meanwhile, the king's chief advisor, Haman, was a wicked and vain man who expected everyone to bow down to him.
Make way for Lord Haman.
Yeah, make way for me. And while you're at it, you can bow to me too. You, why don't you bow to me?
I only bow to God.
What kind of man is this?
A Jew.
Mordecai, refusing to bow to Haman, set a diabolical plot in action.
Oh, great king, there are certain people in your kingdom who are evil. They do not obey your laws, but I have come up with a plan on how to deal with them. They will be all killed on the same day. I have cast a lot, and they will all be killed in the month of Adar. Fun fact, the Hebrew word for lots is Purim. Anyway, do I have your permission to carry out my wicked plan?
Whatever, here is my ring.
Thank you, O great king.
Once again, Mordecai heard about Haman's evil plot and raced to let Queen Esther know the news.
I need to speak to Queen Esther.
Okay, but you aren't allowed in with clothes like that.
We'll get her to come out.
What is it, Mordecai, and what are you wearing?
I'm wearing sackcloth. It's humble, ugly clothing that you wear when you're in danger. And I need God's help.
What's the danger?
Haman wants to kill all the Jews.
What?
Go to the king and tell him that you are a Jew. Maybe he'll renounce it.
I'm scared. The king can kill me if I approach it without permission.
Esther, it was for you, this moment, that God put you in this position. I will get all of the Jews to pray for you. You can do it. You must do it.
Okay, I will go.
So Esther goes to King Ahasuerus and invites him to come to a feast the next evening. She also asks that he bring, as his guest, Haman.
Everyone, I'm here. Bow to me. You, why aren't you bowing to me?
We've been through this before. The answer is still no.
The queen invited the king and me to a banquet. She thinks that I am as important as the king.
Oh, really?
Haman was enraged with Mordecai's lack of respect. He visits his wife, Zeresh, to find solace.
Oh, dear husband, what is the matter? Are you frustrated trying to get life-saving medicine to everyone in the kingdom?
Nah, we've just delegated that to the 127 provinces. We figured we didn't need a national response.
So what is it then?
Even though I'm the second highest, and even though I'm on the queen's short list for the banquet, Mordecai still won't bow to me.
I have an idea. Have our servants build a gallows, then ask the king permission to hang Mordecai.
How high would we have to make the gallows?
I'd say you should make it 50 cubits high.
How high is that in feet?
Meanwhile, the next evening, King Ahasuerus was speaking with Memucan and was recalling that it was Mordecai who in fact saved him from the assassination plot. Yet Mordecai had not been yet rewarded. Haman came in to speak with Ahasuerus during their conversation.
King, I want to ask you something.
First, I would like you to tell me what I should do with someone who has pleased me.
He probably means me. Well, the king should give him royal robes to wear, the king's horse to ride, and have someone parade him around the town shouting, "This is what is done to one whom the king wishes to honor."
Great idea.
Go do that to Mordecai.
Hearing that the king wanted to reward Mordecai instead of him, Haman, in a fury, returned to seek counsel from his wife.
Haman, my husband, what is the matter?
The king made me parade Mordecai around town.
Ugh, that guy makes me want to throw up, but at least the gallows are coming along nicely.
Good.
With the knowledge the gallows were almost ready for Haman's evil plot, he got ready for the banquet that evening.
Well, this is great food. What is your request?
My people, and me, I am a Jew, and it has been ordered that my people and I should be put to death.
Who would dare do such a thing?
A man filled with hate and spite, an enemy of all this is good, the wicked.
Haman!
Is this true?
Well,
Lord Haman, I have good news.
not right now.
The gallows are done.
Gallows?
Yes, Your Majesty. The gallows that Haman ordered be built to hang Mordecai on. It is 50 cubits high, which, by the way, is 75 feet.
What? Hang Mordecai. No, hang Haman instead. And Esther, tell Mordecai that they can't undo Haman's decree, but they can issue a second decree saying that Jews can defend themselves by any means necessary. Here is my ring.
And with that, Jews throughout the land were able to defend themselves against their oppressors, and the evil Haman was revealed as the true evil one in the kingdom.
Well, Mordecai, the reports are in from all 127 provinces. The Jews defended themselves so well that even some non-Jews are pretending to be Jews just to stay safe. You don't see that every day.
That's great news, Your Majesty. but we're going to need one more day to finish the job here in Shushan. There's something about walled citizens that makes it hard to defeat anti-Semitism. I guess we should have used those space lasers.
We should plan a celebration. We should send gifts of food to all our friends.
We should, but that sounds like a lot of work. Why don't we ask the volunteers at Temple Emeth to do it for us? They can make it a fundraiser.
Mordecai, you're loyal, principled, and smart. You're the assistant I should have had all along. You not only get Haman's old job, but his house too.
You're too kind, sir. I humbly accept.
The brave and wise Queen Esther then suggested the story be preserved in the Bible and read every year at this time. I'm sure someone would just assume that it should be called the Book of Mordecai, but Queen Esther had a better name in mind.
The Jews enjoy light and gladness, happiness and honor. Most importantly, they instituted an annual holiday at which they could debate whether the best filling in a triangle-shaped cookie is apricot, prune, or poppy.
The Jews lived happily ever after. The end.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed that reenactment of the Book of Esther. Thank you to everyone who participated in that video. And now we are going to continue with the Aleinu, which is found in Mishkan Tefillah for Youth on page 130. I like this prayer because this is the one where you get to see our big red capes because we turn and face Jerusalem. Please rise for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ויאמר יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We continue on page 132. I lost my book. That's why I had to steal the book away in the middle of the Aleinu. Sorry about that. As our service ends, we think about people whose lives have ended. Some of them we knew and they were very special to us. We loved them and we missed them very much. Others we did not know, but we honor them as well. We remain standing as we turn to page 134 and we join together in the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'yizman kariv imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach leolam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Viet hadar, viet ale, viet halal, shemei de kudsha, berechu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. It is my pleasure at this time to call upon Bob Kahn, a member of our Board of Trustees and the one who got the short straw on giving the announcements, to give us our holiday announcements. How tall does it need to be?
That looks pretty good. Boy, tough acts to follow, but the announcements tonight are especially exciting. Happy Purim, everyone, and welcome to our Purim service on live stream. What better way to spend a Saturday night than with a glass of wine? Join us for a special virtual wine tasting on Saturday, March 13th at 7 p.m. Participants will receive 4 full bottles of wine, 2 whites and 2 reds, and we'll learn about how wine goes from vineyard to bottle, from bottle to glass, and from glass to you. In order to get the wines to you on time, you must RSVP by this Sunday, February 28th. Details and a reservation link were in your weekly email. We will be holding a virtual town hall meeting on Sunday, March 14th at 11 a.m. Learn about what's been going on at Temple, ask questions of your officers, and visit with your fellow congregants. The Zoom link will be in your weekly email. Temple Emeth is partnering with Ember by Smokey Joe to offer a discount on packages of Seder food. Use the promotion code to receive 5% off your order if you order by March 15th. See our website for more info. And finally, thank you to the volunteers of the live stream control booth, Meredith Alvaro Gebhardt, Allegra Alvaro, and Talia Serbu are at the controls this evening. Chag Sameach.
Announcements. Yay.
He is tall. I've got to lower this like 8 inches. There we go. Where are we now?
I don't know, but I'm out of breath.
Oh, yes, a closing song. I forgot
yes.
I forgot what you chose to be the closing song.
Purim.
Chag Purim. I also forgot what page Chag Purim is on in Mishkan. Don't worry, I will look it up.
It's not
Mishkan Tefillah. I took your book, and now I don't look Chag Purim. It's page 191 in Mishkan Tefillah for youth. You want the book back, or you got it memorized? All right, closing song. Page 191.
It's Chag Purim. Okay, ready, Tom? Chag Purim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadolei Yehudim, Anasechot, Rashanim, Zmirot Rekudim, Havar Risha, Rash, 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 Havar Risha, Rash, 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 Havar Risha, Rash, 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 Rashanim, Chag Purim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadolei Yehudim, Masechot, Rashanim, Zmirot Rekudim, Havar Risha, Rash, 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 Havar Risha, I don't know, my kids do this all the time.
Do you know what it means?
That was it.
That was the whole song.
Yeah, what else? It's a Purim song. It's like 2 seconds long.
I know, but Tom didn't stop playing, so I was confused.
Oh, Tom. That's what that was. Tom.
Well, thank you to Cowboy Larry for... and I assume that if you knew his name by now, you would have already put it in the chat or a comment section. So remember for next year that his character's real name is the Hineni Kid. Yes. And thank you to Tom Mustachio for providing all of the dramatic music in our service. And we have just one last treat for you.
You do?
Yes. Normally...
I lost my script.
It's okay, you're not in this.
Good. Oh,
Normally at this time, we would have a costume parade around the sanctuary before dashing into the social hall to scarf down a bunch of Hamantashen before our parents can tell us to pace ourselves. So instead of a live costume parade, we are pleased to offer a photo montage. It is a combination of photos that were taken at Purim in years past and photos submitted to us of temple members or their children or grandchildren in costume. Thank you to Barbara Balkan for putting together our virtual costume parade. Let's take a look. Well, that's it. 6 weeks worth of work, all displayed in 55 minutes of Purim service. So, look, we'll all be back in the sanctuary next year, right?
That's how I feel in Yom Kippur.
So, on behalf of Supergirl here and everyone who put hard work into this service, have a drink now. I know I will. And we all wish you Chag Sameach.